What's going on, everybody? My name is Braden from Talos Drones, and here we're with Dakota from Monarch Drone Solutions. For those who may not know Monarch Drone Solutions, what would you say about who you guys are, what you do, and how you help the farmers in the region?
So honestly, for us, it's the right piece of equipment, right tool for the job. So essentially, if somebody comes to us, they want a drone, we find them and it's the right application for their farm, we try to get the right fit. Be that a T60, mid-sized drone, T100, smaller, larger sized drone. What do they want to do with it? What are their field shapes? Fields like this. This is our family farm. This is my favorite place in the world. This is where I got my bug for agriculture at, right out there. It's just, this is a very special place for me. And so everybody's farm around here is special to them, right? So finding that right piece of equipment and making sure it stays in the air and they're safe, they're getting great quality and they're efficient. That's really what we do. If we can help people do those three things, we've succeeded.
For many farmers that are curious about spray drones but aren't sure if they're the right fit for their operation, what are some of the biggest misconceptions you hear and what should they actually know?
Yeah, so right now, it's a new piece of technology. Everybody's trying to fill it out. Everybody, right? What's the height? What's the swath width? What's the droplet size? Can you spray this? Can you spray that of it? Getting the opportunity so we've got 2 test crews that we fly a lot of different drone types and a lot of different scenarios, trying to get real-time results. A lot of times we see big crop ground testing, which is great. There's so much of that, but here we're pasture ground, right? And we're cattle country. That is what we do, which means every field looks about like my hand. So, trees, little corners, coves, trying to kind of get these demo days we do are spectacular. The more data and advocacy, we can do, the better. But honestly, the trainings, man, there's not a drone that we sell to where it's like, we don't do a training. And that's everything from receipt paper, get everybody, put some dye in the tank, look at the swath, understand what wind does, downwind drift. If we can do those things, folks can have better results, whether that's custom applicators or individual farmers. And that's where that whole, quality piece of it comes in, right? Safety on all the trainings and quality is some of the biggest things, because if we can minimize safety risk, and help mitigate those kind of accidents, people are going to have a better experience. And then also the quality piece of it, they're making great applications and we're part of that for some training. That's really, that's what we can do is get great people who are flying these, great information that they can take into the field and get great results for themselves or for their customers.
You've worked with producers across different types of operations. What kind of farms are seeing the biggest benefits from adding spray drones to the operation?
Man, I feel like a lot of the crop guys, they've got solutions, right? They've got some great fixed-wing pilots maybe in their area, maybe some great helicopter pilots. We first got in the drone world because there was not really an option here. Not a ton of ground rig guys. It didn't make a lot of fiscal sense to have a multi-million-dollar aircraft come down to even do a field like this,
Right.
Very odd shape, so your quality is going to be, maybe they can't quite get as tight as we can, but in all honesty, like say crop guys, they have solutions. In pasture ground, we oftentimes get the backseat. Cattle producers often get the backseat. The terrain's usually rough. Like this is the nicest field we have. It's flat. You don't see that much around here, So for us, I honestly think that cattle producers, pasture folks, cow-calf operations, they're some of the biggest beneficiaries. And I think part of it is, just not being around the technology, because it gets so pushed to crop,
Right.
row crop, or specialty crop, right? Where grass forage is everything we are, right? If we can increase our, grass quality, our forage quality, Corteva, we work with them a ton. They actually help sponsor tonight's event. With those guys, if you remove 1 pound of weeds from a field, just a broadleaf invasive weed species, you're going to get 2 to 5 pounds of grass growth, which is absolutely insane when you think about like hay quality and not, removing those weeds as invasive species, increasing your grass quality and increasing your grass in general. You got better quality hay, you got better proteins, you've got your increase in forage goes sky high. 2-3x. It's pretty neat. It happened to us.
Right. Today's demo gave people the opportunity to see both the T60X and also the T100 in action. Why do you believe it's important for farmers to experience these drones firsthand instead of reading about them online?
I think because it's so different. A lot of us grew up with, a foot feed and a steering wheel in our hand. And not a lot of us grew up with a remote control in our hand, right? So I think it's hard for them to put themselves in the seat. Most of the time you can put yourself, okay, well, Deere came out with this new thing, or Case came out with this new thing. It's all a lot of the same stuff. We're familiar with it. We know what it looks like. But when you don't know what something looks like a drone, like remote control, like a software, firmware package on a remote, it's all foreign. So I think you really just stepping through the whole process, right? And showing people, like lowering that curve of kind of like, it's so intimidating, right? Kind of removing that factor, introducing, getting safe around it, feeling good around it. I think that's one of the biggest things. Reading about stuff, it's great to get some baseline knowledge, but until you do something and you know how it's going to be put to use on your farm and your situations, it's key, man.
Right.
It's key.
Looking ahead, where do you see agricultural drone technology going over the next 5 years? And why is now a good time for farmers to start learning about it?
So, where it's going the next 5 years, I think when we got the chance in 2021, it was pretty obvious. We had a real problem, a very big weed problem on a lot of ground. And we needed to cover it quick, efficiently. And, Dad had the foresight to, we got the first, like one of the, T30s, right? And you look today at the technology and it's so much more efficient. We paid $34,000 for that package. It's a T30,
Yeah.
And then now you look at a T60 at $18,990. It's insane, right? It's like night and day. So the barrier to entry is getting lower from a cost standpoint. I also think that, really, I think more and more, I think a lot of farmers are going to introduce these into their operations. I even see, outside of just farmers, like property management in general, a lot of folks out there that strictly do food plots. They do, hunting reserve, like those sorts of things. So those kind of property managers, we get to work with a lot of great ones. Really cool guy out of Branson, Grant Woods, Growing Deer TV. He's got a huge following. He doesn't run any of stuff with the ground. We get to go down there and do that for him, and it's a blast. I mean, in some of these situations, you're flying 3,000 feet, dropping down, and spraying a 3 to 4 acre food plot. Where used to, it's like, okay, we're going to load the side-by-side up with, all the water and chemical we can. We're going to drive around. And it would take them days. We get it done in like 4 hours.
That's great.
Just from that transit of, going from point A to point B. So, the ease of it is going to be a big deal. I think the technology, the tool, and really the results of what it can do for them, it's just the way the market works, right? If you've got something that works and it's the right price, it will find their way into the hands of the end user.
And for the final question, if someone watching this wants to learn more or schedule a demo with Monarch Drone Solutions, what's the best way to get started?
Yeah, so the best way, honestly, reach out to us on our website, monarchdrone.com. We've got all of our phone numbers listed there. Call us, still talk on the phone. It's kind of our favorite choice. So, look us up, monarchdrone.com. Give us a call, swing by. We've got several bases. Republic, Missouri is our home base. I love to bring people down here. We can fly them into St. Louis. We can fly them into Springfield, come down here, put them up in the cabin, and just make a day out of it. Bring the family and really get everybody kind of involved. Try to make it a pretty good experience because, farming is family. And that's how we got started.
That's awesome.
So that's how we want to keep it. Getting the chance to come down here, do these demos. We can fly anywhere. And like I mentioned, everybody's farm is special to them, and there's always a story behind why. And, my grandfather built and made all this happen for us, and it's special for our whole family. So getting the chance to farm it now, and, he's been in the hospital a little bit sick. So to be able to do this, and he ran John Deere for a long time up here in town, and he took care of his customers very well. And there's still people, you say, because our equipment company, and they've still got something with a label, the sticker on it. And he took care of his customers really well. And, my parents, we had an automotive dealership. They took care of their customers really well. And I hope, as we move forward with this, we can just do a fraction of as good as they did, for the last 6 decades. So going forward, kind of like this farm, trying to build a legacy and, integrating autonomy into here in the Ozarks.
It's awesome.